Hello fans, Marcos Vegas here at the MGM Grand, and as you can see, it's almost weigh-in time. Canelo versus Lara. All the time that we've spent looking into this fight all comes down to this moment right here, as both these fighters are going to weigh onto the scales. Who's going to win tomorrow night? What school of boxing is going to reign supreme? The Cuban school or the Mexican school? We'll find out. But let's go ahead and let's get this weigh-in started as we see Canelo Alvarez and Erislandy Lara step onto the stage right behind me.
He is the former NABO and WBO #1 junior featherweight contender, introducing Jonathan Polvo Oquendo. Jonathan Oquendo weighs in at 126.5 pounds. Ranked the WBC #1 featherweight from Guadalajara, Jalisco, the 3-division world champion, Abner Mares. Abner Mares weighs in at 126.5 pounds. And it's a semi-main event of the evening. Featherweights in action. Mexico versus Puerto Rico in a great battle. Abner Mares versus Jonathan Oquendo.
The last time we saw you, 11 months ago, that vicious knockout by Johnny Gonzalez, will we see any after effects or any ring rust come Saturday night?
None whatsoever. I'm back, I'm reborn. Abner Mares is back. I'm making history again.
You heard this crowd. I mean, these people are ready to see you fight. What will they see Saturday night?
They will see a Jalisciense like nothing. 100% back, Mexico on top, that's it.
It's another one of those Puerto Rico, Mexico type of rivals. You gotta love that, don't you?
I love it. I love being from my country. Viva Mexico, viva Guadalajara, Jalisco. Up a toda la gente.
Abner Mares, he's back. Best of luck to you Saturday night.
He is known as the American Dream. Here is the WBA Super Welterweight Champion of the World, Erislandy Lara. Erislandy Lara weighs in at 155 pounds. 155 for Erislandy Lara. He is the former unified world champion, currently ranked #2 contender in the world. El joven orgullo de Guadalajara, Jalisco, México, Saúl Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez weighs in at 155 pounds. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's honor and glory. Cuba versus Mexico. Erislandy Lara versus Saúl Canelo Alvarez.
This crowd, I mean, there's a lot of Canelo fans here. Does that bother him?
Guys, eso mañana cambia, no se preocupen.
He said tomorrow that'll change. Don't worry about it. Tomorrow that'll change.
You've talked that you're going to take Canelo to Cuban boxing school. What does that mean?
Dice que tú vas a llevar a Canelo a la escuela cubana. ¿Qué eso significa?
Eso, él sabe bien lo que significa, él y su team. Que estén listos para mañana.
Yeah, he says him and his team, they know exactly what that means. They're going to find out tomorrow night, Saturday. You know exactly what it means.
That face-off was intense. What were you thinking as you looked into Canelo's eyes?
¿Qué tú estás pensando mirando cara a cara con él?
¿Qué estaba pensando? Partirle la cara ahora mismo allá ante la gente.
He said, but break his face right here in front of everybody.
Last but not least, what do you want to say to these fans and to Canelo Alvarez?
¿Qué quiere decir a los mexicanos aquí, todo el mundo, a los fanáticos?
Quiero decirle, viva México, viva México. Gracias por apoyar a sus boxeadores y a todos los cubanos.
¡Viva México!
Erislandy Lara, thank you very much. Best of luck to you. You heard this crowd. I mean, obviously this doesn't get old, does it?
No se vuelve viejo esto, ve. Tu público está aquí apoyándote siempre.
No. Para mí, ver esto es una gran motivación. Es lo que me motiva para trabajar más fuerte cada día, para darles triunfos a mi gente, a México. Eso es lo que más me importa.
No, not at all. This is what I work hard for. This is what keeps me motivated. And this is what I'm going to continue doing for my people and for Mexico to give them victories.
You heard Erislandy Lara. He just said in that face-off, he wanted to break your face right then and there. What do you say? He said a lot to you, including taking you to Cuban boxing school. What do you want to say to him?
Te va a llevar a la escuela.
Ya estamos a un día. Estamos a un día. Mañana vamos a ver quién lleva a la escuela a quién. Estoy listo para lo que sea. Y creo que las palabras salen sobrando. Lo que importa es mañana.
One more day to go. What else can we say? The words, they could go with the win. We're here tomorrow. We'll see who's going to take who to school.
We got some questions submitted from Twitter and Facebook. We want to thank you for that. Aaron from Twitter asked the question. He says, Canelo, do you feel that the experience you gained from your fight with Mayweather, will that help you against Lara, and in what way?
En todas mis peleas. En todas mis peleas tomo experiencia. Voy avanzando, aprendiendo. Y toda mi experiencia la voy a sacar mañana. Es parte del boxeo.
Not only in that fight, in all my fights I gain experience. And you're going to see it tomorrow night. It's all about learning and continue on. Thank you.
¡Viva México!
Hey. ¿Está listo?
Yo nací listo.
There he goes, Canelo Alvarez.
The weigh-in is now over. Canelo and Lara stepping onto the scales, both making the weight at 155 pounds. I know both fighters are 154. Al, seeing this fight and seeing the higher contracted weight, what do you make of all that?
You know, Canelo was the one that requested the 155-pound limit, and people felt, oh, it's because he wants to move up to middleweight. He had trouble making the weight against Angulo. And he said, no, I just had a short camp against Angulo, and this wasn't a title fight, so I just wanted it at 155. He says he's going to stay at 154 in the near future as his fights continue. Now, both men were able to make weight rather easily, and as you pointed out, Erislandy Lara had a big gold chain on and still made 154. That had to weigh, or 155, that had to weigh a pound or two, huh?
Had to weigh a few pounds.
As a Mr. T starter kid, I think.
And I was just laughing because he probably weighed 153 and the chain was the 2 pounds. Al, I know you saw both men earlier in the fighter meetings. Did anything interesting come out of those meetings?
Yeah, we spent time with both of them today at our Showtime fighter meetings, and there were several things that were intriguing. For one thing, Erislandy Lara made a point that I have not thought about, and no one else that I've heard has really made this point dramatically. But actually, Canelo made the point about Erislandy Lara. Canelo made the point that Erislandy Lara's defense is all about his movement. That if you look at it, and the Angulo fight kind of showed it, when you trap him on the ropes, he's not that adept at slipping or blocking punches. And when you think about it, that's what differentiates him from a Mayweather or somebody of that ilk. And I think back to Roy Jones Jr., whose defense was his legs. And so Canelo is 100% convinced that if he can trap Lara, that he's going to be able to land punches. Now, of course, Lara feels otherwise, clearly. And when I talked to Lara today, one of the things that remained was the defiant Erislandy Lara. You know, we've seen him be very prickly in his dealings with the press, with everybody else, and it was no different today. At one point, I said, well, he was talking about pushing Canelo into this fight, and I said, well, now that he is fighting, though, you have to at least respect the opinion. He said, why do I have to respect him? I don't respect him. So, you know, we had the same kind of Erislandy Lara we've been seeing. But I think both these men, really, you can feel a big fight when you feel like they're both on edge and really ready to go.
You know, that is an interesting point, and I've always got the feeling that Lara, for some reason, because of his background, his amateur fights, that in a way he kind of feels disdain for Canelo. Like, this guy doesn't belong on my level. I've always gotten that vibe from him.
Yeah, oh, I think he does, and I think it's almost a snobbish kind of a hold, putting on airs, if you will. But he's got, and of course people think of the Cuban fighters, the great Cuban amateurs, in a way like that, and it either diminishes their appeal or makes them more appealing depending on your outlook. But he does feel, and I think we have to really put this in perspective. Yes, Erislandy Lara is the Cuban master when it comes to boxing and all the rest of it. But we have to remember that Canelo Alvarez, even at 23, going on 24, is a 6 or 7 year veteran of the sport. He's a good technical fighter, throws good combinations, and so it's not as if he's some unskilled laborer in the ring. But still, Lara does feel that. But I think Erislandy Lara always uses those kind of motivational tools to push him.
Well, they start him young in Mexico. Right. Canelo starting his pro career at 15. That about does it here at the press room at the MGM Grand. Make sure to tune in to the Boxing Channel tomorrow night. We got you covered on all fronts. As always, being joined with Al Bernstein, Marcos Viegas for the Boxing Channel.